What we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a circle game quick starter. Now, you should have a question on one end of your card, and you should have an answer on the other end of the card. And it should be that your question isn't answered on your card. Let me explain what we're going to do. You've been given an answer in a question on a slip of paper. The person with a green S begins, which is... Well done, brilliant, thank you, Ollie. The person with the answer reads it, then asks their question. So, for example, what does yours say?
What is conformity?
Just say a little bit louder so we can hear.
What is conformity?
Thank you very much. What is conformity? Now, around the room on one of those blue cards, there will be the answer to that, which is... Do you think you've got it? It is the real or imagined change in a person's beliefs, values or attitudes as a result of group pressure. Now, how many people in the room think that's the answer? Excellent, because it is. What's your question?
What types of conformity are there?
Brilliant. What types of conformity are there? Have a look on your card. You should be looking for two types of conformity. Have a look and see what you've got. Has anybody got an answer they perhaps think could be right? What you got?
Not talking to strangers on trains.
Not quite. We're looking for the actual names of the two. Anybody got anything like implicit and explicit conformity? Welcome to the room. Thanks for joining us. What's your answer is implicit, explicit conformity. Your question is?
An example of implicit conformity would be what?
An example of implicit would be?
Not talking to strangers on trains.
Not talking to strangers on trains. Your question is?
An example of explicit conformity would be...
An example of explicit conformity would be Andy?
No smoking on trains.
How many participants conformed at least once?
Oh.
What percentage?
32. No?
What do we think? It's different. Okay, we've got two answers. No? Okay,
Yeah, I do.
you do. Question?
Who studied minority influence?
Moscovici?
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's nearly all the way around. The only one we've got to try and drop in here was this one. Can you remember the sequence? Who started? Ollie. What we're going to do is we're going to do it twice more. I'm going to write down over here which group does it the quickest. So it's a game of speed as well as knowledge. So we're going to up the ante a little bit now. So you've got to try and remember now who asked the question and your answer was related to whose question, because we're going to go a little bit quicker. You're going to have 3 trials. So you've had the first one through, you can have a second trial, and then we'll have a third trial. And that's the one we'll measure. So Ollie, I'll give you an idea. I'm going to have to wait till my little second hand gets around to the top, otherwise I'll forget where we are. Okay. Oh, sorry, we'll go from 25. On your marks, get set, go!
What is conformity?
It is the real or imagined change in a person's beliefs, values or attitudes as a result of group pressure. What types of conformity are there?
Implicit and explicit.
Well done!
An example of implicit conformity would be what?
Not talking to strangers on trains. An example of explicit conformity would be...
Not smoking on trains.
Who stopped the experiment?
An outsider who studied minority influence.
Moscovici.
That was pretty good. I'm going to put this one up. We're going to see if we can beat it. So you're going to have to kind of get a bit into roll. Okay, so it's 1 minute. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Now that's not bad. That's pretty good going because it's 18 questions. So you've got to, think that's pretty swift. But I know for a fact, because I did this last year, you could do it a little bit quicker. You could definitely get below a minute. I'd be looking at you trying to aim for, what do you think is a realistic target for us? What could we... John's saying 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Have we got any advancement on 30 seconds? 45. Do you think 45 is reasonable, Danny? 50. All right, so your target then... You wouldn't believe me if I told you. No, I'll tell you at the end. Honestly, let's see how quickly this year can do before I compare it to last year, because that's just silly. So what we'll do is we'll just wait for my little second hand to get back round to a number I can remember. On your marks, get set, go, Ollie!
Conformity.
It is the real or imagined change in a person's beliefs, values or attitudes as a result of group pressure. What types of conformity are there?
Implicit and explicit. An example of implicit conformity would be what?
Not talking to strangers on trains. An example of explicit conformity would be...
Not smoking on trains. What did Sheriff discover?
He also comes to the fact, what did Ash aim to do? To see if participants would yield to a majority and give the wrong answer, even if the answer was obvious. How many participants conformed at least once?
74%. How many conformed during the critical trial?
32%. What happened to conformity levels when the participants were at the answers done?
Conformity drop. What happened to levels of conformity participants gained partner?
Conformity drop. What does Navarre wish to investigate?
How readily people would adopt a role. How much were their volunteers paid?
15 payments a day. How are the prisoners and guards allocated their roles?
On the flip of a coin, was physical aggression
No
committed?
physical aggression was permitted. How long should the study have lasted? 14 days. How long did the study actually last?
5 to 6 days. Who stopped the experiment?
An outsider who studied minority influence.
Moscovici.
Oh, ladies and gents! You've done better than 115. But you did it in 48 seconds. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you.